This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1594, Strive for Progress and Not Perfection, by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your personal narrator, reading blogs to you, mostly, sometimes books, anything that I think will help you live your life in a more meaningful way. Before we get to it, small business owners wear a lot of hats, and while some hats are great, others like the filing taxes and running payroll hat, they're not so great. That's where Gusto comes in. Gusto makes payroll, taxes, and managing a team actually easy for small businesses. Gusto automatically pays and files your federal, state, and local taxes, so you don't have to worry about it. Plus, they make it easy to add on health benefits and even 401ks for your team. Oh, and you can get direct access to certified HR experts too. Sounds like a pretty good way to run your business, right? Get started now. Don't wait. Let Gusto make it easier on you. They have for me. As a bonus, listeners get 3 months free when they run their first payroll. This is one hat you're going to be glad you gave up. Try demo and see for yourself at gusto.com/old. That's gusto.com/OLD. For now, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Strive for Progress and Not Perfection, by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. I almost ruined my career right at the beginning. In 1992, HBO offered me a job. I wish I had taken it. They wanted to work on this new field, virtual reality. I never responded to them. I felt inadequate. How come? I didn't want to take a job in the real world until I felt people would like me. I had so little self-esteem that I thought the only way people would like me at a job like HBO was if I had published a novel. So I wrote and wrote and wrote. I wrote a novel called The Book of Orpheus, a corny cliche title written by a 24-year-old. It was a 400-page novel about the person I wanted to be in my wildest dreams, instead of a novel about the real me. Then after 40-plus rejections of that novel, which took over a year to write, I wrote another novel. The title, The Book of David. I know. It's about the biblical David, but from a very alternative point of view. 40-plus rejections. I wrote another novel, The Prostitute, the Novelist, the Romance Novelist, and Their Lovers, a play on the movie The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and Her Lover. 40-plus rejections. I wrote 40 to 50 short stories. Thousands of rejections. I wrote novellas. I read thousands of books and then criticisms of those books because I wanted to get better. I was so afraid to show up to the real world empty-handed. Nobody would like me. Nobody would think I was special. I had such low self-esteem in my value that if people didn't think I was special, people secretly whispering to each other, "Who is he? Him? He wrote a novel." That they would hate me, or worse, not pay attention to me. Women would spit on me. Everyone would laugh at my ideas. Finally, in 1994, I was afraid of two things. My friends were starting to make more money than me, a sin, and I wanted to break up with my girlfriend at the time. I was so bad at difficult conversations that I decided the only way out of the relationship was to move to New York City. So I took the job at HBO, even though out of thousands and thousands of pages, I never published a single one. It wasn't easy to remind them about me, but I did it. It was hard to get that job in 1994, but a few months later, I was in New York City for my first day. I was in a suit, settling down in my cubicle at the HBO building. For the first 3 months, I screwed up so bad they had to send me to remedial computer classes even though I had majored in computer science and went to grad school for computer science. I was the worst employee. I was sure they were going to fire me every day. That job was the best decision I ever made. The Wright brothers ran a bicycle shop. People love to ride bicycles. The US government was spending $2 million to get a plane in the air. The Wright brothers from their tiny bike shop were racing against the wealthy US government to fly. Who would fly first? The US government was convinced that a plane has to fly straight or it would crash. No turbulence, zero imperfections, else it would fail. The Wright brothers thought this also. Until one day, they looked at a little kid learning to ride a bike. He jumped on the bike and took off. He wobbled for a few seconds, and every turn he wobbled again, but soon he was off and gone. He was riding a bike. He wobbled. They made a plane that wobbled. The plane flew. They made history. They beat out the government that was spending millions. They did it by focusing on progress rather than perfection. I have a lot of imperfections. Sometimes I'm lazy, sometimes I procrastinate, Sometimes I'm afraid to confront people, so I might disappear on them. I try to be a good friend and parent, but it's hard. I try to be a good partner, but I have insecurities and doubts. I try to have good ideas, but it's a constant effort to keep my idea muscle exercised. I wobble. And then on occasion, I fly. At HBO, I stopped writing. I started focusing all my efforts on this brand new thing, the World Wide Web, WWW. I made imperfect websites, ugly, slow, barely worked, but nobody else was making websites. I had ideas about design, but I wasn't a designer. My programs were sloppy, but they got the job done. I built website after website, and soon I had other companies asking for my help, American Express, Time Warner, etc. I started a business. I built it up. I left HBO. I was a horrible salesperson. I was bad at following up. I was bad at customer service. I knew nothing about business. But very few people knew how to make websites then, even the ugly, imperfect websites I was making. So clients kept asking for more. I sold the business. I started another one. It failed. I started another one. It failed. I started another one. It failed. That was a long time ago. Sometimes I gave up, but I had kids to raise. I really messed up a lot of things, but I wanted to survive, to get better. I had no goals, just survive, just get better. I wobbled, but I flew. If I'd only stuck with my goals, I'd never have started with my life. Always go for progress, practice, persistence, pain, and then find the pleasures of life. Be willing to wobble. You just listened to the post titled Strive for Progress, Not Perfection by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. And don't forget, Gusto offers modern, easy payroll and benefits to small businesses across the country. Get in touch now and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/old. That's gusto.com/OLD. And I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.